So in this season of our lives and culture, we hear Saint James tell us to be patient, to remember the prophets who yearned for the day when God's victory would arrive on behalf of his people and had to wait. It didn't come in their time, and yet they waited in a particular way. And that's when I think for us as followers of Jesus, patience, to have patience, means more than just simply putting up with it, right? It's, James doesn't say, well, put up with life because, it is what it is. That's not the message. To be biblical patience is is behaving in a way that testifies to our faithfulness before God has given us his deliverance. And that in a sense we engage in the behaviors that display our trust in the victory of God's love before we have seen the fruits of it. So just like the farmer who, he waters the crops, he's weeding the crops. In a sense, the farmer engages in behaviors that anticipate the crop coming to full fruit. And you can't eat the fruit of the crop before he does the watering and the weeding. He has to do that stuff before the fruit comes in. And for us as followers of Jesus, we are called to offer ourselves in prayer, to stay with our prayers, to stay with scriptural reflection, to continue to love one another, to serve one another, and in a sense behave as kingdom people, as harvest people, before we taste fully of the good fruits to come. In a sense, we engage in eternal life behavior and age to come behaviors before we are living in the age to come. And so that's the content of patience, is that in a sense we wait in a particular way. I use this analogy all the time that it's like when you're in an amusement park, most of the time in an amusement park you're waiting in line to ride the ride. I mean, Space Mountain at Disneyland, it only lasts but a few minutes, and you've been waiting in line for about 90 minutes to get into that one ride. Well, so what are you going to be doing those 90 minutes? Are you going to be complaining? You just kind of put up with it, or do you have a good time while you're there, while you're waiting? You speak, you have a good time. You're laughing, you're joking, you're taking in what's there to take in. And in a sense, those who have the most fun in amusement parks are those who know what to do while they're waiting. And so it is with following Jesus, that those who are most blessed in following Jesus know what to do while we're waiting for God to say yes to our prayers, while we're waiting for the fulfillment of our petitions, while we await for the deliverance and the mercies of God. While we're waiting, what are we doing? Those who know what to do will be blessed, and even more when their answer comes. A reading from the Epistle of James. Be patient, therefore, beloved, until the coming of the Lord. The farmer waits for the precious crop from the earth, being patient with it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also must be patient. Strengthen your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is near. Beloved, do not grumble against one another, so that you may not be judged. See, the judge is standing at the doors. As an example of suffering and patience, beloved, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Indeed, we call blessed those who have showed endurance. You have heard of the endurance of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how the Lord is compassionate and merciful. Above all, my beloved, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes, and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.